An angel walks the earth.
Adriel is real. He's divine and the hell belongs to him.
I'll tell him to come and get it.
Hello.
Hi, Simon. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. Really, really glad to be talking to you, and thanks to a fan. That's amazing.
I know it's pretty good.
Yeah, I know it's
Well,
great.
the fans are doing a great job promoting the show. So
Totally,
I'm
totally.
listening to it.
And that's actually one of the things I wanted to talk to you about the most. Is about your relationship with the fans, because I see you a lot on social media talking with them. I wanted to know what's your intake on that, on the importance that fans and social media have nowadays for TV shows or movies.
Yeah, well, I think especially for shows like Warrior Nun that are not the big shows, on Netflix platform. Netflix obviously has so many shows, and that's a good thing because it gives the customers all these choices. But they can't promote all the shows the same way they promote, their top shows like Stranger Things or The Crown. So we rely on the social media investment of our fans to help spread the word, because at the end of the day, really, it's we know we've made a good show, hopefully, but we just need to get the audience that doesn't know about it to know about it, really, and or be curious about it.
And well, one thing that I wanted to ask you too, it was about the origin of the show, because it's so unique, that I wanted to know how did it became a thing.
Yeah, well, it started many years ago. The book There is a graphic novel called Warrior Nun Ariala, which is from the 1990s, and that was created by Ben Dunn, who's an American comic book writer. And so the comic book itself was actually very successful in the 90s, and it's in the style of American manga.
Yeah.
It's a very kind of audacious, fun comic book. And then a producer from Vancouver, who I know very well, was trying to do the movie version
Hmm.
of it. And he asked me to help him with rewriting the script for the movie. And I realized very quickly that there was too much story for just a movie. And I asked him if it was okay if I tried to adapt it as a television show. And he said yes. And so shortly after that, I had a meeting at Netflix, and I brought up the title Warrior Nun and this new take on it, this new story, and they responded well. So I think it was one of those things. It's like so much of what we do in this business is timing and luck and
Yeah.
being in the right place at the right time. And so all of these things had to happen at the same time for me to get this opportunity, and it did. So I'm very happy about that.
And you've been working with fantasy and science fiction, but mostly with this whole idea of the battle of good and evil for a while now, not only on Warrior Nun. I wanted to know, what is it that attracts you the most about talking about this?
Well, I think it's from a writing perspective, it's a shortcut to stakes. Like everyone understands, especially in Warrior Nun, everyone understands the notion of, heaven and hell and angels and demons. Doesn't matter if you're a religious person, it's part of our shared mythology as civilization. So I think that whenever you can tap into something that you don't have to explain very much, it makes it easier for the audience to feel connected to it. And also because there's so much mystery around these themes, ghosts and the afterlife and heaven and hell. It's one of those subjects that people have, they live with it in their lives, this mystery and this understanding. So when a television show can build on that, it's sometimes a nice way for the writers and the audience to meet in the middle and find common ground. But for me personally, it's not a theme that I am looking for necessarily. I think I'm always interested in morality and good and
Yeah.
bad, and the gray zone between what is considered good behavior or bad behavior, or perspectives of why someone thinks something is good is sometimes depending on where they are versus where somebody else is. That I'm more interested in. I'm more interested in that perspective than I am in the mythology. but the mythology helps you to explain the
to build
perspective.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, as you were saying, these are elements that we're all familiar with. I mean, heaven, hell, good, evil, but there's also a lot of knowledge about symbology and about religious tales. So I wanted to know, how is it to make research to build a world like the one we see in War and None?
It's fun for everyone, I think. I mean, in terms of the art and the art department and the design, I think our designer Barbara Perez Solerao is very interested in combining religious imagery with the show. Much of it is not written into the show necessarily. Some things are specific and are story, but most of what you see is really the artists of Warrior Nun, the art department. And that's them trying to infuse the show with this mythology in the visual way. So whether it's a location like a cathedral or a church, I think there's always an effort from them to build that into what we're doing, or even props. So it's a combined effort, really, of us as writers, starting with the I guess you could say the inspiration of how can we make a religious image play into the story, like a crown of thorns or a location. Then in production, the director and the art department collaborate with locations to find or build something that will give you that sense. But a lot of it is done in drawings early on. So they had to do the research on the Coptic design and the imagery.
So it would make sense to.
It's all original art. All the pictures are original art done by the artists on Warrior Nun. So it's amazing how much we create in terms of these props and things like that.
But I also think that those details are the one that give that plus that the show has.
Yeah.
That makes it so special.